already proving with archaeological evidence that everything that was written about this temple was wrong. She was a mother, she was a wife, she was a queen, she was a goddess, and we are trying to find out what it led us.
Archaeologists expected artifacts. Instead, they stared into a sealed vault that rewrites history and echoes prophecy. Hidden within Cleopatra's lost tomb lies an object covered in Greek and Hebrew symbols no one can explain, until scholars noticed its pattern matches visions from Daniel and Revelation. Coincidence or warning? Every kingdom that rose against God has crumbled, and each time he revived his people. Maybe what's emerging from Egypt's dust isn't just archaeology, it's timeline. In the desert burial grounds near Sirius Magna, archaeologists uncovered a limestone door sealed since the Roman era. After years of myth and speculation, they believe they have found Cleopatra VII's lost tomb, Egypt's final pharaoh and Rome's most dangerous love story. When scientists broke through the ancient plaster in 2025, they expected dust and bones. Instead, they found inscriptions none could read and artifacts etched with Greek and Hebrew characters. A tablet lay at the center, its surface bearing a spiral identical to a symbol recorded by the prophet Daniel in Babylon. For some, it's a coincidence. For others, it's God reminding the powerful that no empire escapes his timeline. The sand keeps secrets, but when God chooses the hour, even stones begin to speak. What message could a queen speak 2,000 years after her death? Cleopatra wasn't just a monarch. She was the last breath of Egypt's ancient spirit and the first warning of Rome's rise. Her alliances with Julius Caesar and Mark Antony tied the Nile's wisdom to Rome's ambition. When she fell, the world shifted. Greece, Egypt, and Babylon yielding to a single empire that Daniel had already described as iron mixed with clay. Her tomb marks more than an ending. It pins a prophetic turning point when the seat of power moved from the east to the west. John's revelation called it the beast that was and is not and yet will be, a kingdom whose spirit never dies. Through Cleopatra's story, we glimpse the birth of that beast and perhaps its future revival in our age of global rule and digital dominion. Could opening her tomb be a harbinger that Rome's shadow walks again? Inside the tomb lay two sarcophagi, sealed together as if monarch and mystery refused to separate. But beneath them was what startled the scientists, a bronze chest containing a scroll encased in bitumen, perfectly preserved. Infrared scans revealed layers of encrypted writing, some Greek, some Hebrew, some cuneiform. When translated, they referenced a serpent-crowned woman who would rise when the sun crosses the same path as the beginning of empire. Astronomers date that phrase to our current decade. Prophecy or poetry, either way, its timing is unmistakable. The year Cleopatra's tomb emerged matches the year many scholars project as the middle of the prophetic generation that began with Israel's rebirth. When history and prophecy start measuring time together, heads should lift. What if the find is less about her past and more about our future? Every empire that touches Israel draws God's attention. Babylon conquered Jerusalem and fell to Persia. Persia moved over by Greece. Greece handed the torch to Rome. Cleopatra's Egypt sat between them all, a mirror of Babylon's pride and a warning to the West. In her day, she called herself the daughter of Ra reborn. In our day, leaders use the same tone, promising light without the source. Revelation 18 calls the last world system Babylon the Great, not because of location, but because of spirit, luxury, idolatry, and self-worship. When Cleopatra's symbols resurface in 2025, painted on walls beneath Alexandria, it's not Egypt reviving, it's that spirit returning. And prophecy says its final empire will rise once more before it falls forever.
The tomb speaks of a queen, but the warning belongs to a world. The tablet found in the tomb bears a seal matching a pattern from Daniel 2, the vision of a statue with 4 metals and 10 toes of iron and clay. Historians call it coincidence. Prophecy students call it reminder. Daniel was in Babylon when he saw that statue. Cleopatra was Egypt's monarch when Babylon's system moved west. Now that statue's feet, the last world power, look a lot like our world today, strong in technology, fragile in faith, iron and clay intermixed. Even discovering a tablet linking Daniel's language to Cleopatra's rule feels like prophecy placing its signature on history's timeline. We thought archaeology's goal was the past. Perhaps it is the spirit whispering to the present. What if stones and scrolls now testify when men no longer do? Recent news headlines read like echoes: wars in the Middle East, alliances shifting, economies shaking. Isaiah 19 foretold a day when an altar to the Lord shall be in the midst of Egypt. Could this tomb, once a monument to self-glorification, become a megaphone for God's sovereignty? Egypt was the first nation to enslave Israel and may become the first to acknowledge her God again. Scholars note that many plates found near the tomb show winged creatures with eyes and wheels, imagery identical to Ezekiel's vision of God's glory departing and returning. The message is clear. Civilizations fade, truth returns. Maybe the opening of the tomb is not accident, but appointment. Among the artifacts was a crown marked with a coiled cobra, the uraeus symbol Cleopatra used to represent divine authority. It mirrors Genesis 3, where the serpent offered knowledge as a shortcut to godhood. Revelation 12 calls Satan that ancient serpent deceiving nations. Could Cleopatra's emblem be more than ornament? It's the same promise echoing through time. Worship yourself and rule your world. Our century echoes her faith in power and pleasure. When scientists lifted that serpent from the tomb and broadcast it globally, they symbolically resurrected the lie. But prophecy turns symbols upside down. The same God who crushed the first serpent's head will end the last deceiver's rule. The question is, whose crown are we polishing now, hers or his? Science digs, faith interprets. Archaeology names layers, but prophecy names purpose. When professors call Cleopatra's tomb the discovery of the century, believers remember Luke 19:40. If they remain silent, the stones will cry out. Now stones literally do. Even the timing aligns. The 7-year cycle of biblical Shemitah closes in 2029. Precisely one generation since Jerusalem's reunification in 1967. If Ezekiel's and Daniel's visions measure eras by jubilees, then 2025's find acts as prophetic hinge. The world calls it chance, heaven calls it schedule. When scholar and seer speak together, chronology meets eternity. What if the data and the divine are telling the same story? Cleopatra trusted her beauty and power to outlast Rome. Both vanished. Nations today trust technology and wealth. Both perishable. Her tomb is a mirror for our moment. We too build monuments to ourselves while dust waits at our feet. Ecclesiastes reminds us there is nothing new under the sun. History's great tragedy is forgetting that it already happened. The re-emergence of Cleopatra's resting place may be God's gentle reminder that even the world's most adored queen could not cheat mortality. The real question is not what archaeologists found, but what we will remember from their finding. When the dust settles, whose name will the world say next? Cleopatra called herself goddess, but time wrote her as a footnote. Jesus called himself the way, and time is still proving it. Every tomb eventually opens up, hers for curiosity, his for eternity. The difference defines destiny. Scientists have opened Cleopatra's gravestone and uncovered a mystery of royalty and ruin. Believers look to another stone rolled away and see resurrection and redemption.
Prophecy says the earth will one day yield up every hidden thing. What man discovers accidentally, God reveals intentionally. Cleopatra's tomb warns that human power fades. Christ's empty tomb promises that divine life never will. So as earth unseals its secrets, the real question is not what did they find, but what will we believe? The Queen's tomb has spoken from the dust, reminding us that one king still rules from an empty grave.